So our fights became very, very bad, very heated. And then Jones would say, I'm not submissive. He was getting frustrated, and then the response I would get is, I'm providing for you. I'm providing everything for you. If I tell you to do something, you need to do it because I'm providing. And my dad had a piece of paper which was titled, Issues I Have with My Wife. That paper was 8 pages of accusations, including secrets, something you reveal to your wife in the privacy of your bedroom.
Hello Tuko family, my name is Kingori Wangeshi. Welcome to this episode of Tuko Talks. And on this episode, our guest will tell us more about her love life. So if you're there and you're in love, you are in a relationship, you're in marriage, or you recently divorced or lost someone, this episode is for you. Let us welcome our very lovely Lilly Githui, who is also an author of Rewriting My Love Story, Insights on Love Based on My Divorce Recovery Journey. Lilly, welcome to Tuko.
Thank you so much.
Allow me to say it on behalf of our audience, because they've given me that mandate. You look lovely today.
Oh, thank you.
You sure do.
Thank you.
Kindly introduce yourself to them to know who's this lovely lady that we have here on set today.
Wow. I'm already in a good mood. Okay, my name is Lilly Githui. That's my full name. Lilly is a nickname, stage name. I also like it so much because in the Bible, Jesus is called Lily of the Valley. So I relate, I identify, yeah.
Wewe ni wake.
Mimi ni wake. I'm in that family. I've been in the media for over 8 years as a producer and show host. I recently started as a digital marketer. I'm also a communicator. So within that communication umbrella, I'm a musician. I'm an author. I have a book which we're going to be talking about more as we go along. And I'm also a speaker. Socially, I love speaking about relationship issues. Also, my favorite thing about myself is that I'm a mom. I have a 5-year-old son. And then besides that, I'm sure you'll get to know me as we talk.
Wow, that is quite the profile.
Thank you.
So many feathers on one hat.
Yeah.
We are glad to have you here because, guys, those who are in love, let's get this boat sailing.
Love it.
Now, your story is quite a heavy one.
Yeah.
But the first question I would ask is, why have you decided to tell your story? And you have mentioned in your introduction you love talking about relationships and telling your journey of love. Why is it like that before we get into the details?
Yeah. I've always known that I am a storyteller. And particularly, I've always known I would tell the story of my life from very early on in my life. So there's an element which I can't really explain. I feel like it's a calling that God put inside of me to share my story. So
we today will be discussing your book. Not necessarily your book, because it is called Rewriting My Love Story.
Yes.
Insights on Love Based on My Divorce Recovery Journey.
Yeah.
So today we want to hear this love story.
Yeah.
Where does it begin? Okay. Because right now, I think it would be safe for me to say that you're the talk of town when it comes to marriage issues, marital issues, talking to people who are married and who are out of marriage for one reason or another.
Yeah.
Why are we discussing you as an expert in matters marriage?
Yeah.
And yet your book talks about your divorce.
Okay, I don't think I'm an expert in marriage. I don't know if there's such a thing as expert in marriage. I feel like the only expert in marriage is God. He's the only one who can really tell you what your marriage requires. He's the one who can give you intelligence on what your relationship requires or what your love life requires. So no, I don't think I'm an expert. But I have found myself being a go-to. Like, people ask me a lot of questions, especially when they're thinking of leaving their marriage. Those are the people that have come to me the most. And so I think perhaps my journey helps me be able to answer that question. People who want to end their marriage really look for someone who has already been there, done that, to help them understand, is it better across the river, so to speak? Is it better if I come out? Is it better on the other side? So my journey helps me be able to assess from a more informed position and give suggestions that are sound. Yeah.
Because you have experience. Let's begin from where you started this journey.
Yeah.
Tell us about your dating life, how you got married, and then we get to what happened until you parted ways.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
How did you meet your Mr. Right, who really wasn't?
Yeah, Umenza, Mr. Right, I was like, let's see where this is going.
Who really wasn't right?
Right gone left. Mr. Right gone
Went
left.
yes.
Oh gosh, that's funny. Okay. I met my Mr. I met my Mr. Left in 2016. In 2016, I was 26, around the time when I had wanted to get married. I felt like mid-20s are such a prime time for a woman to get married, because you're not so established in your ways, so you're very flexible. You can easily, assimilate yourself. Yeah, you're malleable. You can accommodate someone. You can compromise some things for someone. Also, scientists say that a woman's body is in its prime during mid-20s. So I was just feeling like that's the right time. And then I was looking for a guest for a certain show I was doing. So I called a friend of mine who was in that industry. And then that friend told me he's not available. So I asked him, could you give me Jones's number? So Jones is his name in my book, but I wanted Jones Senior. This friend of mine, because I didn't specify, he gave me Jones Junior. So when I called Jones, and I had a young voice, I'm like, I was looking for your dad, but hi, how are you? You know how sometimes it's awkward. You haven't talked to someone for ages, and then when you finally call them, it's not even them you were looking for. So anyway, so I said hi. We talked. I told him, by the way, you can also come. Are you able to come for the show? He said no, because of 1, 2, 3. But let me give you my dad's number. So he gave me his dad's number, and I called, and I got a guest out of it. His dad didn't come for my show.
Oh.
Yeah, but he gave me a good recommendation.
Okay.
Yeah. So so now from there, Jones started showing interest, very keen interest. And me nilikuwa nachorea your story. I had known Jones in church, but he had never quite been my type. I felt like his mannerisms, his dressing, his I don't know, I had never ever clicked with him or thought of him as someone who I would be with romantically. So
even you church girls have types? You have a type?
Yeah, why not? Why not?
Okay.
I think everyone has a type. I think everyone has a type, and types are so powerful because, like, in our marriage, in my marriage with Jones, a couple of times people would ask me, where did you meet this guy? Like, people would see you're not,
your wavelengths are not aligned.
yeah, you don't look like this, that, like you're in the same wavelength. Types are powerful, and they're there, they exist. Types are real, and sometimes even when you think you're the only one who knows that you settled, other people can see it. They can see there's something there.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, so I wasn't really interested, but as time progressed, he persisted showing interest, and then I guess I was feeling like, now I want to get married, you know, something like that. Yeah, now I want to settle down. Why not have a guy? So I think I said yes because why not? Yeah.
Okay. Not because you really wanted to.
I don't think so. I don't know. He's a good guy. He ticks every box. He's persistent, and you know how. So I grew up in an environment, I think a lot of millennials, I don't know where we got the notion that persistence is a very good trait. Like, if you see persistence in a guy, you can easily settle, like you can compromise on so many other things because this person was persistent. So persistence was glorified. And so I was in that mindset where I was feeling like, if he's so persistent, it means that he is disciplined, he's focused, he knows what he wants, he loves me so much. And if he loves me so much, then this is definitely going to work. Yeah, so we'll find a way. Yeah. So we started dating like that. Our dating life was not bad. He was a very well-resourced gentleman, and at that time he didn't quite have a job, but he had resources, so he had a lot of time. Can you imagine time and money? Oh, when was the time of your life when you had a lot of time and a lot of money?
They don't go together.
They never go together. Yeah, but it happened. So he would come and pick me from work every day, and then he'd take me out, then he'd drop me home. We'd spend all weekends together. If I wanted to go to the salon, he would take me and wait for me at the salon.
So some of us are waiting. That's not, no.
Sarcasm detected, by the way, but
no, but
tusonge.
No, lakini you go to salon for like half a day. I mean,
that's true. He was always with me. I remember feeling crowded, smothered, and I would tell him.
It wasn't nice. You mean that was not nice for you?
It was nice, and exactly that's how he responded. He said he got offended, and then he'd say something like, other women are asking when their men will spend time with them, and you're here complaining. It was nice to a certain extent. Like it was let's give it 80%. But there was a part of it I felt like I'm starting to become isolated. Because you know, when you're always with your boyfriend or your girlfriend,
you shut the world out.
Yeah, you tend to shut the world out. Also, people tend to say, she's with her boyfriend, let's give her time, you know, so yeah, there was that element of isolation. He didn't have a very strong community. So I felt like I was his community and I was losing out on mine. Because me, I had friends, I had like workmates, Bible study mates, family, just a lot of little communities. that I found I was kind of getting isolated from. And then he was very keen on ensuring that I only do private transport. So private transport or shopping in exclusive places, so like don't go to the market and stuff like that, because it's not of that status.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So and I think I would want to put a pause there and say there's some things, let me just say, there's some things people do, like maybe middle class people do, and you think it's just because you're broke, but you realize even if you had more money and you didn't need to do that, it still serves the purpose of socializing. So for example, you may be carpooling because you're thinking, let's save fuel. But another function the carpooling serves is just hanging out with friends. And that is such an important thing. Yeah. So many of those things, I wasn't doing them anymore. And that was how our dating life was.
That was your dating life.
Yeah.
You did a church wedding, didn't you?
Yes. So I had given it a threshold of 1 year. I had said, after 1 year, I don't mind. We can start moving towards the wedding. So for sure, after 1 year, he proposed, asked me to marry him, and I said yes. Then he went and met my parents. I met his parents. We had a lot of favor with each other's parents. His parents welcomed me with open arms. They were so happy. They were so happy. They fussed about me. They showered me with a lot of affection and love and shopping. And my parents were also very happy to receive him, gave him gifts and everything. So things were rolling out. Now, my brother had gone to the same high school with him. He had been a class behind him. And my brother was happy, but he had a reservation.
Okay.
Which, in hindsight, I think he wasn't articulating very well. So when I told my brother that I'm dating Jones, he said, oh, Jones punished me when I was in high school. So Jones used to be a cop.
As a captain or a
prefect.
Yes.
Jones used to be a prefect when he was in high school. And then, so my brother being a class behind him, at one point he had punished my brother for making noise. But my brother says he wasn't making noise. But anyway, Jones punished him. And that just never sat right with my brother. And even when he said it, I didn't understand why. Because he said it like twice. And the second time when he said it, I was like...
Isn't that normal?
Yeah, ni life. Get over it. So my brother, sensing that I was not agreeing with what he was trying to say or not understanding, he stopped. He was like, okay, let me just support my small sister. She's getting married. So we did the wedding planning. We did the traditional events. Our traditional wedding was quite significant in terms of the people who attended, the pomp, the color, the buzz, the bride price, you know. Yeah, so traditional wedding, like it happened. And now we were given a date for the wedding, and we started planning for the wedding. Jones's parents called Jones and I, so we had a conversation, and they said, because now my work was not very well paying, and he at the time didn't have a job. So his parents really wanted us to get married. They were so eager to support us. So they just called us and said, we don't want you guys not to get married because you don't have money. So what you're going to do, you choose, tell us what you want. Just go get your service providers, get whatever you want, do a budget, and then present it to us. We are going to pay.
Okay.
That season, I remember it so clearly because there was a heat wave. I think much like this season, there's a heat wave even now.
Yes.
Right? So we went around Nairobi from one service provider to another, and we finally compiled a list of all the things and the providers that we want and presented it to the Joneses. Now, the Joneses, a few weeks later, they had cancelled all the service providers, and they had gotten their own things, like what they want. And I felt so deceived. I felt confused. I felt like tumebebwa ufala. Like, what was that about? So why were we being sat down? Like, what was that
like
about?
Your budget was scrapped and they had theirs. So was that, were you consulted?
No.
Okay.
Even I caught wind of it. I didn't, like, I wasn't told this and this. I wasn't given formal information. I just, you know the way I would call a service provider that we had settled on, and I'd ask her, how far are you? And then she'd tell me, oh, your parents came and they cancelled. They cancelled me. Yeah, so I'm asking Jones, what happened? And then, those days, I was a very authentic person. So I would not hide my disappointment or my anger. So I flipped. I was feeling so deceived. Now, my family, me, I was happy not to have to do a committee. For many personal reasons. But my family has a very rigid tradition of supporting each other, and they do it like clockwork. If someone loses a loved one, people gather, fundraise, support in every way. And there's usually even there's someone who usually mobilizes that support. So they did that for me. So they assembled themselves, formed a committee, formed the dates. Like, I'm not even really per se the one initiating it. But my family was like, this is what we do, and so we are going to do it. So they were fundraising, and now the Joneses didn't want that committee to happen. And at that time, I didn't understand why. I just felt like they are railroading us. You know what I mean? Like, just trying to hog the wedding planning and the decision making. So I was getting upset. So I asked them, why don't you? I asked Jones, because Jones was like mediating me and his parents.
Person.
Yeah, he was the middle person. So I asked him, so why don't your parents want us to have a committee? So this committee was not just my family, but it also incorporated some of our church friends, because we went to the same church. Yeah. Yeah. But in all honesty, I think it was initiated by my family, and then now we incorporated some of our church friends. So Jones was telling me that his parents were saying that there is someone from our committee who called the service providers and was making changes without approvals. So I wanted to know which person it was, because if indeed there's someone who's doing that, then why not
inform you,
get rid of that person instead of getting rid of the entire committee, right? So, but when I called all the service providers, there was no such person. No one had called. So I was so confused. I was like, are you lying? I was so confused. I had never experienced something of the sort. I think I was, the word is bewildered. Are your parents lying? Why? There are such prominent people. They have no reason to lie. They can just come here and say what they want, you know. Well, in hindsight, I think it was a nice way of saying, don't participate, without actually saying it. But at the time, I couldn't wrap my mind around, first of all, why would you not want me to participate? I'm the bride. And then, why would you not want me to participate or have a say, and why would you lie? Why can't you just say what you want? I feel like, I've always felt like being truthful is efficient. You can just say what you want, and then we see whether it will work or not work. And then if we need to cut our losses, we cut our losses now.
Knowing.
Yeah. Anyway, at that point, I also asked, I started thinking maybe we should postpone the wedding.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe we should postpone the wedding. To a time when Jones and I have, like, I didn't even know postpone it to when, but I just felt like this isn't it. Something is wrong here. But in hindsight, I think I would have wanted to postpone it to a time when we are able to determine, like when we've decided what we want and what we can be able to do within our own budgets. Yeah.
Okay.
So, and I told Jones, I told my mom. My mom told me, don't do that. If you do that, you're going to spoil your affairs. I told Jones. Jones confronted his parents, and I had him confronting his parents. And he told his parents on phone, he was on phone, he told them, if you guys make me not get married, Lillian is saying she wants to postpone the wedding, and if you guys do this to me, I will never talk to you again. So he was very stern. And so what my mom had said essentially
was coming to fruition, like you'll spoil your affairs with the other family.
Yeah. And then that weighed on me also because I had an idea of what bride price was paid, and all the money that had gone into the events that had preceded the wedding, and the flurry of activities and the publicity. So I was feeling like, on top of spoiling my own affairs, I'll probably now create a chaotic scene for my family. So I was also feeling like now I was responsible for my family's image. And then now I also didn't want to cause a strain between Jones and his parents. I didn't want that. That was not my point. So I assessed my reasons for why I was going through with this wedding. And my main reason was I want to marry the love of my life. I want to be married to the...
Regardless.
Yeah, that's the
goal.
Bottom line. Yeah, that's the goal. So I said, you know what, let me just... You know when you want to take a drink that tastes bad, like egg. So I was like, let me just hold my breath and go through with this wedding. And after that, then, see, it's me and my husband. Yes. So, yeah, that will now be behind me. Which is what I did.
So you had your dream wedding as a girl?
Yeah, I had a dream wedding. A dream wedding. I had a fairy tale wedding. I don't know if I can really say it was my dream wedding. I don't know, I was going through the emotions, honestly, but it was a beautiful wedding. I was honored to be the bride. I feel like ushaijikuta mahali. I was feeling like nimejikuta, nimejipata.
You found yourself there?
I found myself here.
You can't even explain how?
Yeah, I can explain, but I can't, but I can, but I can't.
You had a beautiful wedding, but not your dream wedding, or the dream is debatable, right?
The dream part, no, my part is debatable. My dream wedding, is debatable, but it was a dream wedding.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a dream wedding.
All right.
It's something that someone would sit and dream about.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you had the wedding, went for honeymoon, and now the honeymoon is over. The reality of marriage.
Yeah.
How was it?
So our marriage started off beautifully. Beautifully. I really felt like we were the Joneses. You know, we'd sometimes have matching outfits, go to church. We had a seat. I was asking a friend of mine, I had a friend of mine saying I don't have a single kitenge in my wardrobe. I asked him, ujaoa? Kitenge and kuoa.
They go together. And most of the times, si ati tunapenda sana, lakini tunabidi tu tuvae.
Do you have a kitenge? Ulisimamia harusi nayo?
Hapana, kitambo sana.
You don't have a kitenge in your wardrobe? Ankara, nothing?
Nothing.
You're lying.
Nothing.
Nimekushuku, but sawa, tusonge. Yeah, so it was nice. I quit my job. I wanted to explore my talents and my gifts, and I wanted to try consultancy. I was also being a stay-at-home wife. And
yeah, you're married now, I mean.
Yeah, yeah. So I loved it. I really loved it. I feel like we were friends. Even the part where I was saying he was not my type, I feel like we were starting to gel into each other and to really become each other's type. So it was a quiet marriage. We were good. I always felt like there's a part of me that didn't quite fit into the whole construct of his larger family, and I don't know why. It's that thing people used to ask me, how did you meet? I feel like maybe the texture of my personality was not, and I could feel it at nuance level, you know, at a very minute level. I could feel that the texture of my personality was not welcome there. Yeah. I was a storyteller. I loved talking to people. But then these people are very private people, and I'm like, okay. So trying to find myself in that environment. That was the only thing I can put a finger on. But other than that, I think our marriage started off beautifully for the first 3 years. Within those 3 years, within 6 months, we had wanted to start having children. And then just when we were starting to explore that direction, I realized that I had endometriosis. It was diagnosed. So I had always had the symptoms, but it had never been diagnosed. The worst thing about endometriosis is when it's not visible on the scan. Then you find yourself having very painful cycles, like excruciating pain, and you go to the doctor, you get a scan, the doctor tells you, oh, it's normal, just take painkillers. Sometimes you tell your friends, fellow women, like, hey, me, manze, at that time of the month, I get very bad pain. And you get a lot of, me too, I usually use paracetamol. You're like, no, not like that.
You don't get me.
Yeah. So I was very happy when it was caught on the scan. I went for surgery to remove something called an endometrioma, and then I did I think 6 months of treatment, 6 months of hormonal treatment, and then now I started trying again to have a child, and by God's grace I conceived, I think by the 2nd month, which was to me a miracle, because once you've had endometriosis, it can take decades to conceive.
Okay.
So I think it was good medical management, and also just taking it easy. I don't think I ever really took it very seriously. At the back of my mind, I had said that even if I don't get a biological child, I don't mind adopting.
Okay.
So I think that not putting pressure on myself might have helped, and just enjoying the journey, having fun with the journey. Yeah. So we were blessed with a baby boy in 2019. 2019 was a postpartum. It was not, postpartum is not easy.
It isn't.
Yeah, it's not easy. You've had stories.
Yes, it's a condition called postpartum depression.
Depression,
even. Yes.
So
especially to new mothers.
To new mothers, yes. To first-time moms.
Yes, first-time moms.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. And there's something else called baby blues. And usually the people who get it the most are the ones who have had the baby by CS. So me, I got baby blues. It was such a strange occurrence. I always wanted to cry. I was always sad. I was telling the gyna, it feels like a chemical sadness. And then, you know, this is, maybe it's important I say this in case there's a guy who is in a situation where the wife has baby blues. Sometimes these hormones, they can attack the father of the child.
Hapo nasikia kama mnajitetea lakini
I know it's not what it sounds like, but you feel like this man is not doing enough, and you get frustrated.
Enough by either supporting you or
like you're not supporting me enough.
Phase.
Yeah.
And what should we do?
So number one is it helps if you're aware that this is not about you. Yeah, if you're aware like this, it might be about me, but also it might be hormonal. It really helps to just be aware of that possibility, because sometimes it can look like this woman, you can't figure out what she needs in terms of support.
And can she figure out?
Sometimes not. And sometimes she can figure it out, but she doesn't want to ask because it's making her feel helpless. So like maybe she wants something cleaned, and because she has a wound, she can't clean it herself. She's not strong enough, but she doesn't want to ask. Especially if it's a firstborn or an alpha female, someone who just loves to do things on her own, you'll find her nganganaing with it, like moving a fridge, you know, just trying to heavy lift. And then she's feeling upset. She's feeling frustrated that she's not strong enough. She's maybe feeling embarrassed to ask. So now the sum total of that is that she's upset with you. And now you are wondering, what is it? What have I done?
And because no communication is coming my way.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah. So what I can say to do is be very gentle, hold space for her. It's a very difficult time for a mom. Even her body is changing. If she's keen on her appearance, she probably also is feeling sad about how her body looks like right now. so there are many things going on that some she can't articulate.
Okay.
Yeah, so just hold space and be very, very gentle, and also get support.
Okay.
I think, honestly, I think Jones handled that very well.
Okay.
Because he even, so when we finally went to the gyna, and I told the gyna, I feel sad all the time, and I feel upset with Jones. The gyna told me, you're having baby blues. And I asked Jones, did you know? He said, I thought so. The other thing is, don't tell her, maybe you're hormonal. Don't say it.
Yes.
You can think it,
But don't say it.
Don't say it. And if you say, or maybe if it comes from her, she says, maybe I'm hormonal, you can say, it's a possibility, but whatever the case,
We will walk this journey.
yeah,
together.
exactly, perfect, yes. So Jones also never told me that he thought I was hormonal. He just held space and just did his best. Yeah. Okay, so that is postpartum. 2019 has gone. I think that's the time when there were rumors of COVID in China.
Yes.
2020 comes, and around, I think the first quarter is when the first case was announced.
And there was lockdown.
So now March was for buying. We were those people that were buying masks. You know that packet of masks? I think it costs 200 bob.
Yes.
Yeah, but that time, that day, when the case was announced, I left the house. The nanny was with the child was with the nanny. I left the house, went to a nearby shop to buy a packet of masks, and it was 5K.
What?
Yeah. Yeah.
And you bought?
I bought.
Okay.
I could, first of all. So the priority was for us to have masks, right? And sanitizers. If I could do something differently, I think I would sell masks and sanitizers. I'm just starting to realize how much money people were making.
Yes.
Anyway, so now there was lockdown. So Jones said that he would like us as our family to stay on complete lockdown throughout. So even when the lockdown would be lifted, the what are those?
Used to call them measures or protocols.
So I think for me, after a while, so me, I was okay. I had even healed from the baby blues. I was okay now. Life had gone back to normal. I had found a routine that was working for me. I was taking online classes, and so and taking care of the baby. Things were okay. When it started becoming prolonged, and I couldn't leave the house for a prolonged period of time, so Jones would leave to go to work. And then he would also shop for house supplies. So he would do everything that required any outdoor activity. And then my job was to stay in the house with the child. Eventually, the nanny couldn't bear it. It was too much. Because you see, that time, most nannies, if not all, would still take their off days. I think it's quite a stretch to ask someone to indefinitely stay in a house. Yeah.
So, in your case, was it a lockdown within a lockdown?
Yeah. I mean, it was a severe lockdown. Like, even when the government would relax the measures, in our house, there was none of that. I mean, it was intense. Way past when there was that anxiety. So I think the first 1 or 2 months, there was very high anxiety. But me, long after that, there was all that, like wiping down shopping, sanitizing everything, and spraying outside the door so that you can laugh if you want. So spraying outside the door. Yeah, I mean, it was a lot. It was intense. And so I would, when our nanny left, she couldn't do that. Yeah. So she left, and she left badly. She stole, and then she left. She stole a lot of valuables, and so it was again a CID case.
Okay.
But she was caught, and some of the items were recovered.
Okay.
I was really feeling I needed a nanny. I just really felt I needed a nanny, for also other reasons, which I won't mention, but there was just a lot of work to do. But Jones was very adamant, we're not going to have a nanny. We will stay, the three of us, and you and our son will stay on lockdown indefinitely until the last case of COVID is announced.
Okay.
Yeah.
Within that, let me understand. You are not allowed to leave the house. Is that what you mean? Because we were also on lockdown. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, I was not allowed to leave the house, and at one point it became very intense that that the Joneses family bought me a washing machine with a dryer, so that I don't have to go outside the house to hang clothes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're not, I don't know if I'm getting it, that you're not supposed to leave the four walls of the house.
Yes.
You're not supposed to step outside.
Yes.
How about sunbathing the baby?
There was a balcony.
Okay.
So he said you go to the balcony.
So you're not stepping out of the door?
Not out the door.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Not outside the door. So I don't know if I was getting postpartum. I don't know if it was postpartum or just another kind of depression. But I was beginning to become very sad and very anxious, and also just, social media has such a big effect. I'd open my socials and I'd see my friends, they're going back to work. I'd see my friends, some of them are getting married. I'm missing out on so much. And then small things can really impact you when you're troubled. So on my 31st birthday, I took a picture inside the house, and someone in the comments, I think 3 people in the comments asked, "Are you leaving the house?" And that made me even more frustrated and troubled. So whenever I'd ask Jones, I think our son and I should leave the house. I think we should take a walk. I think we should have a nanny. I think we should have even a friend or family over to just come and support us. Jones was very adamant. No. But I didn't. So because I'm an inquisitive person, I would push back, and I'd push back hard, and then also my troubled self was becoming very angry. So I would yell at Jones, I would yell at the baby, and I was now becoming very angry, and just, any small conversation would erupt into a fight. So our fights became very, very bad, very very heated, and then Jones would say I'm not submissive. He was getting frustrated. There was just a lot going on. To some extent, there's some details I don't want to divulge, but also I will invite the viewers to get a copy of the book. A lot of more details in the book. And then the response I would get is, I'm providing for you. I'm providing everything for you. So why can't you submit? If I tell you to do something, you need to do it because I'm providing. And I felt like that is not what I signed up for. That is not the kind of friendship that we have been having. I'm like, is that what this was? You didn't give me that memo in the beginning. And that's why I was saying, I find truthfulness efficient, because if someone tells you what they want in the very beginning, you can cut your losses. I feel like if he had told me, I'll provide for you, but you need to do everything I say and ask,
then you'd have weighed your options.
I'd have weighed my options more fairly. Yeah. I got in because I thought this is somewhere where we are going to do what makes sense. Yeah. If something doesn't make sense, we won't do it. If it makes sense, if we're negotiating based on logic, and rationality, and not based on who is providing. Yeah. Because I think that's also an unfair way of negotiating. It implies that the person who is providing money is the only one who is providing something for this union, right? And it disregards the effort of the other party.
So if the roles were reversed and you are now the one providing, could he submit?
I mean, I can't speak for him, but that's a good question, because I've heard of so many men whose wives provide and they still have control issues. So I think that control issue is not something that is brought about by being financially stronger. It's just an intrinsic thing that some people have, that you want to control someone.
What broke the
camel's back? That's a good question. So so during one of our heated fights, I sensed that something is off. And I texted our marriage counselor, and I told him, I don't know, I feel like our marriage is ending. Can you call me? Can you help us? He was busy and he didn't call me, but I just sensed that something was wrong. And the next day, my dad called me and told me to go to his to go home. That was what? That was about, I think it had been a year since I saw my parents, because of this lockdown thing. And so that my dad was calling me with confidence and telling me to go home also felt like, okay, everyone knew that I was on a special lockdown. So no one was inviting me for stuff. Yeah. People had carried on with their lives. So without this was, you. Yeah, without me.
Sad.
So sad. Yeah. So it was curious that he was calling me with so much confidence and telling me to go home. So, and he told me that Jones has told us that your marriage has gone sour. So I told him we are having issues, but we're planning to see our counselor.
It's not that bad.
Yeah, and I had not breathed a word to anyone of what was going on between Jones and I. My principle was we take it to the counselor. Yeah. My dad said, well, no, I think it's urgent, just come tomorrow. So I said, okay, fine. So I asked Jones in the evening when he came from work. My dad called and he said that he said that our marriage has gone sour. Do you know anything about that? And Jones flipped and he started accusing me of many things, and he was telling me, you don't take care of our son, you are unhinged, you are unsubmissive, you are careless, you are lazy. And he was like, it was flowing like a river. So I thought, my God, So you had a meeting with dad? Yes. So you told him that? Yes. Okay, fine. So I have to go. So I went the next day. I met my parents, and my dad had a piece of paper which was titled Issues I Have with My Wife. That paper was 8 pages of accusations, including secrets. You know, something you reveal to your wife in the privacy of your bedroom. And it's on that paper. So I was in shock. I've never been so shocked in my life.
8 pages.
Yeah.
Of accusations against you.
Yeah.
What came through your mind when you found out what was the content of the 8 pages of evidence against you? So first my dad could see that I was already shocked. So he didn't read the whole document, and he didn't allow me to even touch it. So he just read a few things, and I was in tears. I couldn't talk. I was just choking on tears. I had to leave the sitting room and just go out first to breathe, because I felt like I was even running out of breath, like I was having a panic attack. I couldn't believe. Remember I told you that our marriage was beautiful. Yes.
And we had come from him not being my type, and now we had started gelling and understanding one another. This was a very long shot from the Jones I knew. This was a stranger. I thought he has lost it for sure. Like, that was my first thought. Like, this is not the Jones I know. Something is wrong. Yeah.
So what did your dad say?
My dad, upon seeing my reaction, he was a bit gentle. I think my parents were also very shocked and disappointed with me. It didn't cross their mind that Jones could have been lying.
Akona evidence kwa karatasi.
Not really evidence. You know, those are just words.
But you see, he has put the accusations in a
Oh, so it's serious? Yeah, I guess. And even he had dated some of the days. He would say, like, on Saturday 18th of this month at this time PM, you know, she walked out of the house in a half, and you know, a lot of so I think also the dating would make it look plausible, I guess. So it didn't cross my parents' mind that he could have been lying. Their first thought was, what happened to our daughter? She wasn't like that when we gave her out. So my dad recommended that we go for marriage counseling, and he said, I think both of you have depression, and probably because of the COVID thing and having a newborn during this season. So we are confident that if you go for counseling, things will get better. So we started going for counseling, and the counseling was an interesting experience. I felt like, so now of all the things, now we were talking about COVID before here, but now for me now the main thing was this letter. What the hell? What is this? Can somebody just explain to me what this is? But I kept feeling like no one is taking it seriously. Like, people are telling me to be a good wife, submit to your husband, reading for me Ephesians chapter 5, you know. And I'm like, yeah, I get that, and I should definitely try to be more submissive, but can somebody explain to me what this letter is? And it just looked like our marriage counselor was telling me, if you dwell on this letter, you lose your marriage for nothing. You should let it go and just focus on being a submissive wife. I mean, just give your husband what he wants. Mpange, you know, give him what he wants, or make him think that you're giving it to him. So I don't think I can say overall, sum total, I don't think that marriage counseling helped us. Yeah, because there was this thing that had really injured me, and I feel like it was not being addressed. So eventually I took a short break, and a 2-week break. We talked it through with the marriage counselor, and we said maybe I should go to my brother's house for 2 weeks. I just breathe, and then I breathe, I look for a job. I had a job just before I gave birth, and then I lost it when I gave birth. That's a good conversation to have. So I was hosting a certain show at that time when I was pregnant, and when I gave birth, they let me go. I feel like the screens were very unfriendly to me because of my pregnancy, and I think that was unfair.
Well, I think it was.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, so I don't think it's fair to let someone go because they gave birth. I don't. It's not a bad thing.
It isn't.
Yeah, it's not,
it isn't. That was unfair.
It's not punishable. Yeah.
Outrightly.
Anyway, so now I was now needing to look for work, because now this providing thing is being used against me, right? So I said, let me go to my brother's house, first of all, clear my mind, look for work, and then when I come back, I'll get a COVID certificate. So that's the other thing. When Jones relaxed the COVID measures, he said, you can be visited, but let whoever is visiting get tested and get a COVID clearance certificate before they come to the house.
Okay.
So I said, wow, that's
Quite
progress.
strict.
Yeah. So when I was going to go to my brother's, I would then, after 2 weeks, so this was how now visitation would be. I would visit someone, and then for me to come back, I needed to get tested, get a COVID certificate, and then go back home. Yeah. So, and that's why it made sense that I go for 2 weeks, so that I can breathe outside air, take in,
and come back.
And come back with my certificate.
Wow.
Yeah. So one day, I took my son to the barber shop. My brother was taking his boys to the barber shop, and I really wanted to take my son. He had some very cute afro baby hair. So I gave him that cut. I don't know, it's called what, fade? Like a fade.
Fade. Yeah, it's fade.
Yeah. So he was looking so good. So gosh, so I called Jones, and I told him, I guess I was just trying to create conversation.
Break the ice.
Break the ice, yes, that's the word. So I told him I took my son. I took Ray, let me call him Ray. Let me give him that pseudonym. So I told him, I took Ray to the barber shop, and he's looking so good. And Jones didn't take it well. He took it so badly. He told me all sorts of things. What kind of a mother are you? Are you trying to kill your son? How careless can you be? Like he beat my head off. I felt like he was being so mean. So I'm asking him, why are you being mean? Why are you like this? Anyway, a few days later, he asked that we meet, and he said he just doesn't feel like we can continue being married. Why?
Just like that?
Yeah, just like that.
Wait, did it come from the haircut or what?
It came from the haircut.
You don't say.
It came from the haircut. It came from the haircut. And I think I was also feeling so wounded and sad because are you letting me go because of a haircut? Is it that, do you hate me so much? Jones hated me. He came from being this person who could not sit still without me.
Yes, waiting for you at the salon. Now he doesn't want you.
He hated me. He'd look for every reason to get rid of me.
Oh no.
Yeah. So and I could feel the hate. So for me, it wasn't the haircut or any one thing. It's just, you know, the energy. When someone dislikes you, you can feel the energy, and it's the worst space to be in. So that's how our marriage ended. I moved out. I took some clothes. I asked him, can I take some furniture? He said, so our house had been basically furnished by our family and friends from the wedding. They had gathered resources together, like gifts, gifts, and then we had furnished our house. And we had furnished it together, and every single piece had carried a certain meaning, like when it
was sentimental.
It was sentimental, yeah. So I asked him, so can we divide the furniture? He said, no, this furniture belongs to my parents. So I took my clothes and the baby's clothes, and I left.
Just like that?
Just like that.
Was there a legal process?
There was a legal process that followed later.
Okay.
So what happened is I stayed with my brother for a short while, and then I got a job and moved out on my own. When I moved out on my own, that was, when I got a job is when Jones filed for the divorce.
Okay.
Yeah.
As you were leaving the house, now moving out, what was going through your mind?
I can say I was just confused. I don't think it was my saddest day. My saddest day was the day for the letter.
Okay.
That was
the 8-page letter.
I don't think I've ever been that sad in my life.
No. Then let's go back there and ask you.
Yeah. Was
it like a list, or was it an item and an explanation?
I like how you are asking.
Because I mean...
Was it in paragraph form or in bullets?
Yes.
It was in paragraph form.
8 pages.
With descriptions and very good English. And
that is something that's taken to court. Like, this is the
I know.
Of evidence.
I showed my lawyer that thing, and she was like, wow, Jones has very good English. It was a very gripping read. Like, you'll be reading and you're like... So, let me say something else. That time before I moved out, most of the encouragement I was getting was ideas of how I can make the marriage work.
Yes, that's where I was going. You didn't try talking to him and what can I do better?
Yeah, for sure I did. I did. Oh gosh. Hey, what's the word? What's the word? I don't know what the word is. Like when you're the one who is begging and negotiating and trying to, can we talk? Can we explore what? Yeah, so I did all that. I tried to clean the house better, to take care of the baby better, you know, to be quiet, you know, like me and my nifundishe kunyamaza.
For the sake of my marriage.
It's my mouth. It's my mouth. Yeah, so I became more quiet, more reserved, more submissive.
The Bible expresses it as a quiet and gentle spirit.
Yeah, that one. I really tried. But sometimes, utajipata tu umelipuka. I know. You see? Yes. This is exactly what I tried. But I tried. I tried. My brother, the one who used to be in school with Jones, is the only person who was not telling me to try. He was telling me, if I was you, I would have left the day he wrote that letter. You see, so that letter, even me, to some extent, I was not 100% sure it's not true. You know, like, do you know you can be gaslit so that somebody lies to you, lies about you, and even you start thinking maybe it's true.
Yes.
Yeah. And so my brother was really trying to shake me to reality. He was like, stop it. Because every time he'd call me, I'm like, so like now I've just washed the dishes, I've done this, I've taken care of the baby sleeping, So I'd narrate to him all the things I'm trying to do to make it work, and he's like, stop. And then he sent me the letter. Remember, my dad had not shown it to me. So my brother, let's call him Amani. I like giving people pseudonyms just to honor their privacy. So Amani is like, Lillian, listen. Did you read that letter? I'm like, no, I didn't read it. Let me send it to you. Yeah, let me send it to you. So he sent me the letter. And so I look at it and I'm like, then I go and give Jones a mouthful. When I see that letter, I'm like, seriously, you wrote this about me? Are you okay? Are you nuts? So back to my unsubmissive self. Anyway, so I just wanted to say that it really helped. I think Amani really helped me to grasp that situation. It was not about COVID. It was not even about me. I don't think that talking less did any good. I don't think that, being more dutiful did any good. I feel like this is just somebody who had a change of heart. And I don't know if there's enough awareness that somebody can love you and then change their mind. I don't think we are prepared for that. And I don't think that phenomenon is accepted in Africa, that somebody just had a change of heart. Yeah.
So it will always be the other person. It's now, in this case, it was you.
Yeah. Clean better. Try different positions. Try this. Try that. Try the other.
Now let's jump to the post-divorce Lily. What kind of a girl would she be?
Oh my God. Hey.
She has tried everything.
Where?
Positions,
everything.
Cooking,
Jesus.
Cleaning, being a better wife. It has not worked out. You've divorced.
Yeah.
What kind of a girl would she be? How will the world receive Lily as a divorcee?
That's such a good question. You've asked it so well.
Thank you.
Okay. My first what is it called? My first strategy was to hide. I just wanted to hide, like just mind my own business, take care of my son, have a routine. Something I used to, someone called it triangulation, like work, home, church, work, home, church. That was my strategy. Now, there was a guy who knew what I was going through, and this guy was married. And that's okay, no problem with that, no problem with that. So he would reach out to me and he would text me and he would want to know how I'm doing, and I felt like I was trying to create a safe haven, trying to hide. And then this guy was probably getting into my bubble. Yeah, interrupting that
triangle.
That triangle I was making.
In what manner? Tell us, we are here. In what manner? Because is he coming into your life to work with you during this phase? Or what kind of interruption is he bringing into your bubble?
So first of all, validation. You know, I'm coming from a place where I've been accused.
8 pages.
Yeah, 8 pages, and then now we are in court. The court is even worse because, by the way, in court you throw mud at each other. It's so draining. And then when you're divorced, you kind of become a suspect, at least for a while. People are like, what did you do? What did you do? That marriage was a good marriage. That Jones guy was a good guy. What did you do?
You must be the problem.
Yeah, you must be the problem. And that's why I'm trying to hide, because I don't want to even narrate this story. I don't want to be asked questions. I feel like it's written here: divorced, rejected, hated, suspect, bad woman. So I'm just trying to mind my own business. So this guy is bringing validation. He's saying, I know what you're going through. I know you, and I know it's not your fault. Yeah. Then he says he wants to take me out, and I'm like, okay, cool, no problem. See, people can go out.
Take coffee, juice, and...
Yeah. When we go out, he's showing romantic interest. And I'm like, kwani tuko?
Niko dunia ingine.
Kwani niko dunia gani? Are you not married? He says, yeah, I'm married, but I love you, Lillian. So now he becomes, he comes in harder. So obviously at first I'm like, no, why would you even think that I can do that? To cut the long story short, eventually he did get into my head, and how he got into my head was he asked me a very simple question. You've been a good girl all your life. What do you have to show for it? You've stuck to the rules all your life. You've been honest. Now you're even being punished for it. Because some of the things I would say would be taken out of context, used against me, and I can't even hata siwezi jitetea, you know. And he'd say, so you've been a good girl all your life. What do you have to show for it? You need to learn how to have fun and just take life easy. Maisha no maya. Maisha no maya. Yeah. So I'm listening to him and I'm like, enyewe, what do I have to show for it? I was also feeling disappointed with God and also confused. I thought God hates divorce. I thought God loves marriage. I thought God is a restorer of marriages. I was really trusting God to restore my marriage. And so also that being confused about who God is and what he wants, I decided, okay, let me give this a shot. Maisha no maya. Kabisa. So, and I asked him about his wife. I asked him, so, are you not happily married? Do you not love your wife? He said, no, my wife is okay. I'm not gonna leave her. Hajani kosea. So I said, but are you not causing her pain if you do something like this? And he said, she won't find out, and if she doesn't find out, then there's no pain. Like, it's not painful if she doesn't find out. Then I said, so what if she finds out? If she finds out, she won't leave me. We have an understanding. We give each other freedom to do whatever we want as long as we protect each other. I said, oh my God, what a marriage.
You're seeing a different picture of marriage.
Yeah. Then he tells me this is how people are living. This is what marriage is. Iyo yako na Jones, you guys had cordoned yourself off. You had isolated yourself. There's no way that was gonna work.
Okay.
It only works if you allow each other to breathe explore, live, so that you come back to marriage now with a fresh perspective, like with you've breathed. Yeah.
In short, did you date him? You know, you told us that he interrupted your triangle.
Oh, yeah. See, I've told you that I got confused.
Oh, no, confusion is different from dating.
Why do you want me to spell it out, Kingori? Be kind. So I couldn't call him. I could only text him, and then now he could call me back.
Did you feel, again, put in a cage? Because you're not free to express yourself. Absolutely. Because now, especially because he has already told me he's not going to leave his wife, at the back of my mind, I kind of knew this is going nowhere. I think I was just confused. Munisamehe, to me, I was just confused. Yeah, because he had already said he's not going to leave his wife. So who are you in his life then?
Like a sort of a modern second wife.
Okay.
By modern, I mean, I don't think he had confidence to suggest to his wife that he gets a second wife, but the vibe I got was that he believed in polygamy. He was a Christian, by the way, and a church leader. I was confused because I'm like, well, this monogamy thing
hasn't worked for me.
Hey, imeniramba. Hey. Anyway, so but then I just knew this one, even if it's biblical, it won't work for me. That's how I ended up just detaching from this. Let me call him a gentleman. He was not a bad guy. It's just that his principles were like that. So I detached from him because I knew this one, even if hata nikipewa na Mungu hivi, it won't work for me. Yeah. But that guy used to tell me about submission, and he used to tell me about his wife.
That she was submissive?
Yeah, his wife was very passive and very accommodative, and that's why he had the confidence to say, even if she finds out, she won't leave. He had so much confidence in his wife. She could take in anything from him. And now here I am, who I question things. I want you to be accountable. I want you not to say something different from what you said last time. And to him, that was not submission. Yeah, that was now what could have caused my marriage to end, that I used to ask questions and things like that. I came to think that what sometimes people are calling submission is actually deception. That the priority is not to do what your spouse is saying, but to make him think that you're doing it. You can do whatever you want as long as they don't find out. Now you are submitting. Now you are respectful. And so I think for me, then that could result in a marriage that is seeming to work, like it's not breaking. Yeah. Yeah.
It's not breaking.
That's what, what some people call a marriage working.
It's one that is not
breaking. Yeah. So we've been together for 30 years,
But it's just not breaking. Probably it is not working.
Exactly. Like you guys are strangers, you lie to one another. You actually don't have an authentic friendship. You get to a point where, I don't know if you've seen this. I'm so sorry if I'm describing your marriage.
That's why we're here to learn.
I don't know if you've seen this. You want to visit your friend who is married, but they can't meet you in their house because they're not going to be free to be themselves. They want somewhere where they can laugh out loud and gossip and say whatever they want to say. They can't say it in their house because in their house they have to walk on eggshells. They have to be careful what they say, what they do. I feel like how can that be what you call home? You know, wouldn't you rather have a smaller, like a more modest space, which is authentic. You can be yourself, you can be happy, you're free to laugh, you're free to talk without somebody saying, what do you mean? Yeah. What did you mean when you said, I heard you telling your friend, da, 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 da. Yeah, so that was my take home, is that I decided, one, sharing is just not for me. Yeah. And then I would rather be in an authentic relationship and friendship. So his plan also, double M, in my book is called Double M. He used to encourage me to, now that you know how to submit, because now he was teaching me the ropes of marriage and why my marriage failed. Now that you know how to submit, now that you know how to live your life, get married also. So his plan was, I get married and then we continue.
I'm not judging, I'm judging him.
Please, yeah, don't judge him.
He's a church leader. You know, the Bible says that teachers of law will be judged harsher than us.
Yeah, yeah. So, I knew I can't share. So I detached. But I liked the idea of, now that I know the ropes,
get married.
Yeah, I thought, yeah, I can do that. Not hard.
Not to him.
Yeah?
Not to him, though.
Yeah, not to him. Not to him also, because you see, he's not somebody who will marry you openly. Yeah, so not even possible. It's not even an option. So there was a guy in my life who liked me. So I decided, let me play along. Let me play along. So again, he wasn't my type.
And you're not meeting your type, though.
Where? Yeah.
It's just an observation.
Yeah, that's a very good observation. Why am I not meeting my type? Hey, who stole my star?
What happened to this? Hey, not your type again.
Nyota yangu. Hey, ati?
Nah, what happened?
Okay, so this other guy now who is not my type, so we start this relationship, but for some reason, the more he loves me, the more I don't. The more he likes me, the more I dislike him. I don't know. We dated for 2 months, I think. But at that time, I started studying this thing of types. What is this? So type is like somebody you click with, someone you have chemistry with. And I was listening to a psychologist called Helen Fisher, who was she's actually done a study on why we fall in love with the people that we fall in love with. We fall in love with the people we fall in love with because of our conditioning, how we've been conditioned, what we've grown up seeing, who we are. And when you try to be with someone who is not your type, you end up really trying to change them. Subconsciously or sometimes even consciously, you try to change them. I think this man knew he was not my type, and so he would tell me that he wants me in his life so that I can transform him and help him to be a better man. Now, on the textbook, that looks like a good thing, but people get tired of always being badgered and like, imagine a woman who is trying to change you, change the food you eat, change the way you talk, change everything about you. It's very tiring. And so I think, yeah, so at that point is when I dated one other guy, and then now I was single, kabisa. I have met my type, but I think that the right time for me just has not come When I've met my type, then there was an issue of misalignment in terms of season. But what has happened over the course of my healing journey is, one, being able to forgive myself for the things that outrightly were mistakes, being able to accept myself for things that are not as put together as one would want. I think sometimes I fancy being quiet like you know, you're a quiet person.
Nalikwambia mimi nyamaza.
Usigongi watu. He's not quiet. Kevo, is he quiet? He's quiet. Kevo is laughing. Give me an answer. Give me something. Hutaki kumchomea.
And what impact has this, either, how do we look at both sides?
Yeah. What
impact has the healing journey that you are working on or worked on, has it had on you, what you do, or what you do has impacted this journey?
I love it. Hey, I have a story, and it's a nice story. So, the other day I went to church and I was running late, and so I was asking myself, why am I late? Like, why am I late? I only have one child to take care of. There's no reason why I'm late. So I was beating myself up about it. But what I came to realize was that particular Sunday, my lateness was useful to someone, to God and to someone. And so I wanted to say that when our lives are surrendered to God, everything is meaningful, you know. So the Holy Spirit will be telling me, yes, don't be late next time. But now that you're late, come I tell you, come I show you what work you can do. So I got to church, found another friend of mine who had gone late. So we were like super late. Like ile, ni church inenda kuisha.
Ni sermon, then...
Yeah, I didn't even bother to enter church. Yeah, I just went to the car park and, is it called there? Yeah, car park. So I found a friend of mine there. And she was in a ministry, let's say hospitality. So it was at the beginning of the year. We were talking about what are our New Year resolutions. And she was saying, this year I don't think I'll serve in church. So I asked her why. She said, because I don't think I'm living a Christian life. I don't think I'm not celibate. I drink, I club. I feel like I'm not pleasing God with my life. So that reminded me of the time when I used to do a show for prayers. It was called Prayer Circle. That show, I've never seen a divorced person hosting such a show. Usually if you're divorced, you can be sure you will not work in the church or in Christian media or in a Christian organization. For a long time, Christian organizations have not been liberal to people who have family challenges. Yeah. And so to see God using me, giving me such an opportunity and using me in such an opportunity at such a time of my life. Because remember, clarity didn't come immediately after divorce. Clarity came much later. After I've gone through a rough patch, dating, and then now finding healing, that God was using me even in that state was saying to me that human beings can put you in a box, but God doesn't put you in a box. God is free. He uses you however way that you are. And so I was able to tell her, you serve. God will use you exactly the way you are, and He will help you. Do you want to live a Christian life, or is it God you feel you want to honor, or is it people you feel you are letting down? Ni gani na kuuma? Do you feel like you're letting God down, or like you're letting human beings down? Because if it's human beings, don't even bother. People pretend out here. If it's God you feel you're letting down, also don't bother, because God can change you. He's the only one who can help you to get to where you want to get to live the kind of life that you want to live to. So that's exactly where you should be going. Serving God is exactly what you should be doing when you get the chance to, because he helps you to elevate your life like that. Also, my experience with Double M helped me, because I used to get a lot of calls from women who were dating married men, and some of them would tell me, I'm really trying to come out and I can't, I'm stuck. And then I could tell them with a lot of conviction, you can come out if you trust God. Whatever you feel like you're getting from this person, if you believe that you can do without it, because God will fill that gap, then you'll be able to get out. So in that way, my work and my adverse experiences fed into each other, because now I could minister to people with empathy, without judgment, sometimes with humor.
Before we talk about this story, that you are the story in this book.
Yeah.
Your love story.
Yes.
Where are you in this journey right now? In this rewriting, on what page are you? Are you dating?
I'm not dating.
Okay.
I'm not dating. I'm open to meeting people. But again, this is not a casting call.
Okay.
Don't do that.
Okay.
Karibu tengeneze flyer sasa. No, don't do that.
Let's go to the next part. What's your type? There's this that you're not meeting. What type is that?
I told you I've met my type. I've met my type. It's just also alignment is also something I look at. So there are many things I can say. I think number one is well groomed. I just noticed Kevo has done. I'm not saying it's Kevo, relax, but I noticed he did he's manicured his nails. Now, I'm not saying you have to manicure your nails, but I have an eye for grooming. I sincerely do. Well, that's just one of the things. But I really am a sucker for connection. If I sit with you and we talk and it feels like this could be a podcast, I feel like, that's...
You're going to podcast in...
Eh?
Are you going to podcast in the house?
In the house?
I almost said in the bed. Okay. You're a sucker for connection.
You know what I mean. Wish, yeah. You know what I mean, though.
Yes.
Connection.
The frequency are aligned.
Yeah. So if our conversation flows, for me, that's one of it's a game changer. It's not everything, but it's a huge game changer. And then, so conversation is a big one, which shows connection. Over and above connection, so there's my type and then there's my kind. I've met my type who is not my kind. Someone who we can talk for hours and hours and hours, but our principles are not aligned. So if our principles are not aligned, then you're not my kind, then it's not going anywhere. If you're my type and you're my kind, then now there has to be an alignment of seasons. Yeah. So if sometimes seasons are just not aligned. It's not, maybe it could be not my season to settle down, and it's you want to settle down immediately, me I want to settle down in the next 2 years because there are some things in my personal life that I need to iron out before I proceed. So now I feel like ultimately I really rely on God's guidance. I feel like God really can help me know, is this the one? Is this the right time? Yeah.
Is he the right Mr. Right?
Yeah. Is he Asiende left? Yeah.
Now, where can you be found so that they
Yes.
can get in touch with you for to read this story, Writing My Love Story, Insights on Love Based on My Divorce Recovery Journey, Lilly Githui?
Yes. Please find my book at Nuria Store, Kenya. You can order it. You can order it online, nuriakenya.com. You can also go pick it up at Nuria Store, which is at the Bazaar building, first floor, shop 12. It's on Moi Avenue. I am really working to put it on Amazon, so that people can also be able to order from there. But in the meantime, those are the places you can get it. Please interact with me on all my platforms. Lilly Githui, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube. I'll be very happy to hear from you.
And Lilly is double L.
Lilly is double L. Thank you for saying that. Ish. Thank you for saying that. So Lilly Githui, all platforms. Please write to me, email me on lillianmedia@gmail.com if you want inquiries about all the other work I do, digital marketing, or if you want a training. I train people how to tell stories, how to tell their own stories. Because I know you've met people who have wonderful stories, but they are so shy and so afraid to tell them. Are you one of those people?
I have met them.
You've met them? Yeah, so if you're feeling like you really want to come out of your shell, you want to know how to package your story in a book or in a podcast or on a show like this, I offer such trainings as well. So I have a training on the 30th of this month. It's going to be virtual. So I'll also share the link how people can sign up for the training. And I look forward to interacting with all of you. And thank you so much, King Ori, for having me. I am so blessed to be here. You're a blessing.
Amen. You are equally a blessing to me.
Thank you.
And to Tuko family.
And keep up the good work that you're doing. I'm your big fan. Mi ucheki show zako. Saa zingine na kuombea. I'm like, God, protect this man.
Please do.
Yeah.
Don't stop.
I pray.
Don't stop.
I pray. Keep up the good work, King Ori, and the whole Tuko family.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Umesikia? Asanteni sana. Thank you, Lilly. Tuko family, what a time we've had of reflection, of different perspectives or newer perspectives on matters love, relationship, love and divorce from our guest, Lilly Githui. I know you've learned lessons. Maybe you could get in touch with her or put it down on the comment section. Tell us what you think about this conversation. My name is Kingori Wangeshi. This has been Tuko Talks, right here on Tuko. Yes, nowadays I'm doing Tuko Talks. Until next time, goodbye.